Okay, let's do this. Welcome to Behind the Usher Station. Woo!
I'm Alex.
I'm Jerome.
And I'm Jonathan.
We all used to work together as ushers at the IMAX Theater.
And now we're doing a podcast. So if you like what we do here, please like, subscribe, and share. And send it to all of your friends that you know on Facebook and Twitters and YouTubes.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the YouTubes.
Grandpa?
Yep.
All right.
Good old YouTubes. Back in my day, you didn't
Just
have
like
that.
and subscribe.
Yes, follow us. Woo! It's going to be fun.
What up?
Yo, welcome back to another wonderful, thrilling, marvelous, fantastic, honest episode of Behind the Usher Station. Today, we are talking about the debate between YouTube and television and how nowadays it seems like YouTube and streaming in general, like Netflix, Hulu, all that good stuff, is taking over. Thoughts?
You both just came in way too intense for me. I was just waiting until you both were done. You good? Okay. Yeah.
This is the high energy portion of the show, and then we get into the debate. Then we get into the low portion. Then we get into the low portion where it's like, oh yeah.
Now listen, this is the bout that you've been waiting for, all right? We've been waiting to see YouTube fight TV. TV's been ducking YouTube for the past 6 weeks, and we were ready for the bout to happen. They did the weigh-in and everything. They were talking some serious trash, especially YouTube. They're all about talking trash. So
it happened lately.
So we're happy to see YouTube and TV take each other on for the heavyweight championship belt. I'm pulling for YouTube because I feel like they can't be stopped, won't be stopped. What do you guys think? Who's taking bets?
So would you start it, Jonathan?
Okay, I'll go. I have conflicting opinions on the whole streaming versus TV because I like both. So we were just talking before this podcast, but I ask me anything about any reality television competition show on like ABC, NBC, or CBS. Chances are I'll know who was on in what year, who won what season.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
You even do that, like, no offense, weird like live streaming thing with the Big Brother house and the different.
If I'm gonna put this video in the hashtag of Big Brother, and I'm gonna say go after Alex because she said she called the Big Brother live feeds weird.
It is a little weird, but you know what? I like stalk people on Instagram, so I can't even say nothing. I'm like up at like 2 a.m, bored out of my mind. I'll go through people's old videos and stuff. You know what I love to do? I love to go on Instagram and watch like the people's like weird edits and compilations of like things, and like, oh, there's a compilation of somebody did of like these 2 YouTubers they put together, and it made it look like they had a whole relationship, and I don't think they are together, but it like made me feel for them, and it made it look sad like they broke up, and I was like, oh my god, I want them together, but I don't think they're even dating at all. So like whoever did that edit, I was like, you like deserve an award. I felt that in my soul. So I'm not saying it's like
nowadays.
It's like,
social media is just one big live stream. People are live streaming their lives, whether or not they want to believe what they want us to believe what they're selling us on social media.
So I like felt that more than I have from like TV or movies. In like a 5-minute video that like somebody on Tumblr posted, I felt more than I felt from like something I saw on TV. So I can see why like YouTube and like social media is becoming more powerful.
For me, it's just I would say I am more of a person who appreciates streaming content versus watching it on TV. However, I think that while like network TV is definitely lacking in a lot of areas, I think cable TV is consistently just getting better with from the areas of
Did
like
you
how
hear
they
about the Game of Thrones?
Listen, I know about the Game of Thrones, okay?
You know
I know
what?
about Game of Thrones. I'm just saying that still
I think people are bashing on Game of Thrones too much, but I kind of think it ended the way it was like. It went with how it was gonna go.
The truth about Game of Thrones is that, for me anyway, the way I feel about it is that Game of Thrones, even the last season, wasn't bad TV. It was a bad Game of Thrones season. like everybody compared it to how good the writing for Game of Thrones normally is, like the level of quality it normally is at, and compared to that, it's a bad season.
We can't go into Game of Thrones because that's a whole.
But what I'm saying, but even still, you gotta respect Game of Thrones, like how they use their budget. Like HBO's TV shows outside of even Game of Thrones, but stuff like Westworld and Chernobyl, like all like the amount of scope that they are able to accomplish using only what would be considered like a TV budget rivals that of movies almost sometimes.
Yeah, but you have to admit that like getting them streaming wise or cable is hella expensive. To get cable and then to stream like Stars, to get Chernobyl, and to get like, I would love to watch Spanish Princess, which is about Catherine of Aragon. To get Stars, that's an expensive app for monthly, and it's like, well, I don't want to pay for that when I can pay for like, like CBS, which is like only like $5 compared to that, and like I'll give CBS a chance more so, or just go straight up to YouTube, which has more original content. Yeah, the budget's like a little bit lower. But, like, I'm going to actually enjoy it more. And it's, like, more or less of a predictable storyline half the time. And if the writers or the characters get less funny or enjoyable, I'm not losing any money. I can just literally unsubscribe to them.
My thing is, I can't stand when people are like, oh, I don't even have a TV. Like, I only have HBO and Netflix and stuff. Like, nobody asked you, Hannah. Like, can we, like, it costs about, like, $10, maybe $15 to get one of those antennas, and that'll get you, like, the basic stations. Meanwhile, you're spending all this money on cable, HBO, Stars, all this random stuff. And you're like, oh, I can't afford TV. Like, shut up.
Right. All those streaming networks, like, cost so much money nowadays. And it's like, well, why can't I just pop over to, like, Netflix, which has created so much original content that ends up being, like, really good on its own. Like, Always Be My Maybe. Just watch that. Oh, my God. It turned out so good. And the Keanu Reeves, like, his entrance... I don't know if you guys have seen.
I've heard about it.
I've seen the trailer, yeah.
Oh my God. Like somebody put his entrance with different music. Somebody did so yesterday with Hilary Duff. It fit so beautifully and so well. And like Keanu Reeves is like my new favorite person. I love him. And
he's killing it right now. He's also in a new video game too.
Is he?
He's in Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's and it fits for him.
Keanu Reeves is great, and that gives like more options, and I feel like it gives people more options. They're less like restricted, as in with normal TV. The characters are just the characters, and you can't see them like cross with other networks too. Like the guy who was what's his name? Sorry, the guy who was in the show Empire.
Which guy? Like Terrence Howard
or Jesse Smollett?
Terrence Howard, I think.
Okay, because if we're talking about Jesse Smollett,
we're not gonna go there.
That's a whole podcast in and of itself.
That's another podcast we might get to. Podcast. Maybe in the next season we'll get to something like that.
Anyway, Terrence Howard.
He was mainly on the Fox network, and then he did a show on, I want to say like NBC or ABC, that weird one where they were in like some post-apocalyptic future and something, and it ended up being short-lived because of like weird contract dealings because of different networks. And it's just like you get so restricted. And with like Netflix, you get to jump into different genres because Netflix is so much more open. And then people with Netflix have worked with Hulu, and then like you have YouTube, and YouTube has so many different like channels, and people like you see like one YouTuber working with this group, one YouTuber working with that group, so many collaborations, and you're always wondering like, oh, have these people met? And then you want to jump to more channels, and you get to see a lot more.
I would say though, my only issue with TV or the internet over TV is the lack of consistency. Because for a long time, like Netflix is like doing really well now, but I remember when Netflix first started really getting into doing original content outside of Orange is the New Black and House of Cards, there was a lot of stuff on Netflix that was just subpar quality, whether that be from writing to the effects to budget to all types of different, and it was just a treasure trove of just bad movies on Netflix because they would just say yes to anything and everything. And so it almost gave Netflix a pretty bad rep. I think it's why they're having a hard time now fighting the uphill battle of like people taking some of their movies seriously when they started really making some really good content, like when they made Beast of No Nation. And a lot of people thought they should have been nominated for like an Oscar, but it got looked by the wayside, you know? So
I thought that's where Quvenzhané Wallis, isn't that where she wasn't she in that movie?
Yeah, and I think and that's the thing.
She got nominated for an Oscar for that.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she was like 9 years old and yeah.
Oh well, yeah, she got nominated.
Mm-hmm.
I think Netflix has award-winning movies now.
Well, they do now, but I'm saying is like it took them a long time to count, and they're still trying to figure it out. Like, what exactly is the like standards of streaming? TV has a consistency that I do appreciate, though. Like, if I ever do want to just go back, like Archer, for example. Like it is a consistent show. It always has consistently good writing, consistently good voice acting and talent, and they are on contract with Fox. But I know I can still turn that show on, and I know exactly what I'm getting into. Versus both with Netflix and YouTube, it's very much a 50-50. You could hear something's good, watch it, and it's just not for you, or whatever. Or you could turn to something and like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not something you want to spend your time watching as much as you would like an actual TV show.
I think that's more personal preference, though. Because, like, I don't like Orange is the New Black. My mom and my sister love that show. I don't. I find it boring. And I just can't get into it.
I'm more inclined to watch things that are more amped up. I'm not really into, like, the character development and subplots. I want something to get to the point. And in that case, like, that is kind of where YouTube gets a point for me, because you're able to watch anything that you're basically able to customize your own playlist. Whereas TV, it's like whatever is on TV, you're gonna watch. YouTube, if you don't have the autoplay feature on, then you get to pick and choose what you want to watch and what you get to decide.
I agree with that. And it's you don't have to like you see these YouTubers or you see these like channels, and it's really great because although they are building their brand or building their ideas, they have their own individuality already, so they're not creating their own character. They are who they are, so you know a foundation already. They don't have to build a backstory. You don't have to learn little by little, but you also get to see them grow as individuals and characters. Like, take for example the Try Guys. These were just 4 guys. I absolutely love these guys. These are guys I've followed since they were at BuzzFeed. Their first episode was literally guys try on women's underwear, and they were hiding behind a sheet, and they were just picked from 4 guys in a random office. And it's funny because they were so scared of showing their butts, and it's so funny. The whole thing is just like that, and they had their own individuality, but they grew together, and you get to see that. But at the same time, there's a foundation there. And with shows, you don't get that. You're just so in the dark. And it's like not fun. You have to just...
Shout out to the Try Guys. I know. If you guys want to...
They're not sponsoring us. We don't got to shout them out.
But maybe they could.
Yeah. Maybe they could.
Shout out. What are the
Oh, no, I'm not sponsorship, but, shout out. There's Keith. There's Eugene, there's Zach, and there's Ned. And I'm going to say this right now. Ned's kind of my favorite. Him and his wife, Ariel, are the cutest. And Ned,
shout out to Ned.
I love his intensity. And then I love Eugene.
You weren't liking our intensity when we started this episode.
Yeah, but Ned's like a fun intensity.
Mm-hmm.
You two go
I
preacher.
feel hurt. I feel hurt.
What? Don't get mad.
But I'd say I don't know why I'm on the side of TV because I also agree with a lot of the points you just said. But someone's got to be here defending TV, so I guess it'll be me.
Why?
I defend TV.
We'll just
Jonathan loves reality TV, so like a lot of the shows.
But it's reality TV. The TV we're talking about. We're talking about syndicated shows and stuff like that.
Are we though?
You know?
Like I don't really watch the syndicated shows. I mean,
I watch Blackish. I'll watch.
I don't like Blackish.
Oh,
I don't like family shows. Like my mom is always like, "You'll really like this show," and I'm like, "Is it another family show?" And she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I don't. They're so boring to me." And it's like, no, I'm not in that realm of my life where I want to sit down and watch a family work out its problems. I'd rather watch some alcoholic single person deal with trying to pay their rent. For some reason, that's what I relate to. I don't know why.
One of my kind of, I guess, to argue for the point of TV is that I feel like we're losing that connection that we used to have. Like growing up, you remember watching TV, sitting on the couch with your family, just like chilling and enjoying the shows. Nowadays, it's like kids are on their iPads by themselves playing whatever game or watching whatever Baby Shark video on YouTube. So I feel like that connection has kind of been lost. Sure, you can make the argument like, oh, now people are like sharing stuff together. Like we're in a social media age where it's easy to share stuff and it's easy to connect with people. But I feel like we're now living in a world where we're connected online rather than connected in real life.
I will say this. My sister did. I kind of use that for YouTube. I can use that argument for YouTube though. My sister did come over last night. We were hanging out, and we used to watch Vines together on our laptop, and we would just like sit together really close.
Mhm.
But because Vine is gone, we actually use YouTube on TV to watch Vines together, and we were watching the compilation of. I want to say his name was Meech.
Oh, Meech on Mars.
Yeah, Meech on Mars. Who he is hilarious. I forgot how funny he was.
He was great.
He's great. No, I love it.
And he works now at All Def Digital, which is Def Comedy Jam's online stuff.
Oh,
they have him come on sometimes.
Oh, that's so cool.
So he's still doing comedy.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to Meech on Mars.
Yeah, I was watching your Vines last night, dude. It gave me a good sweet moment with my sister.
And shout out to ADD.
Yeah, for sure. All Def Digital.
We were like, and so we got that moment, and I was just saying, I'm like, yeah,
ordered
it feels
a whole
like
basket of fruits, and her and her sister had a great
You
time.
only give edible arrangements to people you hate, but you have to give them a gift. You're just like, oh crap, what do I give them?
I never hear about edible arrangements. I never hear of anybody who buys it. I only see the commercials.
You would only give it to somebody you dislike, but you have to give them something.
My mother loves edible arrangements. Thank you. She loves herself some fruit.
I love fruit. And
in the shape of flowers, it looks pretty.
But when you think about it, like somebody's like handled that fruit, like they've messed with it a lot.
But
when they put it in the grocery store, what's that supposed to mean?
No, think about this. You take a bite out of the apple, like within seconds, it's gonna turn brown. That's why you eat fruit so quickly. So like, how long has that fruit been cut, and how long do I have to eat it?
They put some stuff that makes it process.
Well, I think before they give it to you to like deliver it, you it comes fresh out like a refrigerator or some place to keep. But
like, how long do you have to eat it? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, I mean, it probably depends on like if you have a container to put it in. If you put it in a Tupperware container and put it in the refrigerator,
yeah, but
it'll last a lot longer.
I don't know.
For the people who are listening, we are not sponsored by edible arrangements. We just honestly went on a tangent.
For the people listening, if you could comment and like tell us how that works, if you've gotten edible arrangements.
Yeah, I've never ordered one. I'm just making assumptions.
One of y'all work for edible arrangements?
Or if you've gotten it for somebody you've hated, or if somebody you've hated giving it to you,
walk us through the process.
Yeah, like how much do you have to dislike the person? Like, is it from like, oh, I know I dislike them, but I don't really want to, or like, because I feel like those are quite a bit of money, so I have to dislike you enough. I have to be petty enough. I think it's pettiness. I have to be petty enough to actually spend the money. Which, you know what? I'm petty. I would probably do something like that. I openly admit right now, and you're going to hear this a lot, my ass is very petty, and I would probably do something like that. I would get somebody, I'm the one who would get somebody a 50K.
You would think you would get one of those like glitter bomb things, you know? Where
I
you send
want
a
to
card.
do that, but I hear it might end up being assault depending on who you give it to.
Oh,
So you have to be careful.
oh.
Because it can take out somebody's eye. If they're close enough or they're looking down.
Well, aren't there the ones that just like you have a whole bunch of glitter like in a card and it just like falls out? It doesn't like explode on you.
Yeah.
It just like falls out.
Well, there was
That
that card I gave to you where the butterfly came out.
Oh yeah.
And you yelled at me.
Yeah, and then we
gave it to Brian.
We gave it to Brian. And
Our old supervisor. And he screamed because apparently he has a fear of bugs.
yeah.
That was a fun night. That was also the night I walked around with cardboard looking like death. That was the same night. You remember that?
No.
We found those cardboard sticks we were fighting with.
Oh yeah.
And you hit yourself in the face.
You hit me in the face.
No, you hit yourself in the face, and then I hit you in the face.
But
Anyway,
Anyway.
where were we?
That's what we did while we were ushers. We did.
but you were
A
saying
glimpse into our
about
Usher
Vine and
Oh, yes.
watching Vine stuff.
Meet Myers. I got to watch him on because of YouTube. I got to watch him, and I got to watch some of the other Viners that we would have lost had YouTube not been around. And I got to share that moment with my sister, and we got to laugh and be like, "Oh my god, I forgot how funny he was," and
Well, I
just
think-
like him, and got to like relive him. Him and who was the other one that he was always Vining with?
Dope Island.
Dope Island. He's super funny. Shout out
think-
to him too.
Well, the only thing is
Shout
though,
out to Dope Island.
I feel like YouTube. The point against YouTube a bit is I feel like YouTube can also be very toxic as well.
I hated that sound.
Yeah, everyone does.
I'm sorry, you're talking about something serious, and I'm like,
Yeah,
making
no,
noises
go
in the
go.
background.
YouTube is toxic.
But I think it is toxic. Like it's toxic from a show standpoint because I feel like it's made fans of shows a lot more entitled than they were at a certain, because I think that disconnect with TV kept people kind of on a different level because they're like, oh, it's a show. Hey, Snowbell, by the way. Like, it's a show, but I don't have any control over what they do. I can just take it or leave it. Versus with YouTube, there's a lot of user input. Like anything, like if you like a certain video enough, that specific YouTuber might make more of that specific content. Or if you don't like it, vice versa. So now you have a bunch of people that are so used to having their needs met, and when it comes to regards of their entertainment, that like for example, with Game of Thrones, the last season, not a lot of people liked the last season, and now there's a petition going around of people being like, well, we want you to go out and remake season 8. Remake season 8? Do you have any idea how long it took to make season 8? It took them half a year to film those 6 episodes. Are you kidding right now? You have no idea how much
but when
money
you put
and time.
When you put a Starbucks cup and a water bottle in the season, do you really think that they like cared about it that much?
Regardless, as a person,
that wasn't even it. They made their fans really mad and really upset. Like water bottle and Starbucks cup aside.
maybe Game of Thrones is a bad season. Let's use Star Wars for example. Okay, Star Wars Episode 8 comes out.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And it was very divided. I like Star Wars: Last Jedi. There are some people who don't. I respect that opinion. But there are those who don't respect mine because there's also a petition to make that non-canon as a part of the Star Wars universe, which is A, petty, but B, you don't get to decide that. Like you're just a fan. Either admire or don't admire the film. That's your choice to make. But don't ruin the fun for the people who do like the show, and you don't have any right to do that. You're just a person who watches the movie, no different than I'm just a person who watches the movie.
Yeah, I'm not about that life where people are like marching with pitchforks in the street like, no, this needs to be redone. We don't like this. It's like, you're not owed anything. You did not invest the money, the millions of dollars to make whatever product this was. You are a consumer. You are a fan. you enjoy the story, you don't enjoy the story, like that's not reason for you to you can have a valid complaint, but I think it's like messed up how people think they are entitled to an entire like production when so many people put in hard work into it. I'm not saying that like you can't complain, because we complain about stuff
you have
all
the
the
right
time.
to complain. Like,
complain
you
about
like
stuff
what
on
you
this podcast.
Well, you like what you like.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to take that away from anybody. If you don't like something, you have the right to not like that thing and be vocal about how you don't like it. But at the same time, you don't get the like you don't get the it is not you're in your right place to then like go out and actively try to destroy something if somebody else liked it or if you didn't like it.
So I was kind of texting.
I saw that.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't want to put you on blast like that. I wasn't gonna say
I'm
anything.
openly admitting it. I was talking to one of my best friends. He lives in Oregon. So when he texts me, I have to text him right away. I miss him and I love him.
Shout out. This is just a shout out podcast.
Yay! So your argument is just that on YouTube and streaming, we just have too much control, and that it changes too much of the content. But I mean, TV gets blasted so much, and then a lot of the people who work on the show just end up feeling bad because they're like, "Hey, we tried our hardest," and all the fans are just like, "No, you screwed up." But I always, yeah. So is that basically what it's coming down to? That like, do the fans have too much control on YouTube? But then again, think of all like what's going on YouTube right now. That weird, like what we were just discussing with the weird popular makeup wars. So I do like Shane Dawson, and I love his crew. I like his fiance now, Rylan Adams, and his gonna be future sister-in-law Morgan Adams, because they're not really part of the makeup crew. They're just these weird siblings who go around doing nonsense, and they get a lot of hate for no reason. She's like a silly goose. I like her. Kind of like clumsy, and I relate to that so much. It's like him though. Shane Dawson's gotten like part of the makeup community, and so he's just kind of gotten more insulting towards other makeup people, and he's like hanging out with Jeffree Star now, and like with all that other stuff. It's so like now it's like he's part of the like popular group on YouTube, so now he's just gotten bitchy. And it's like all the other YouTubers are like, they're more fun to watch, and it's like we lost him, and it was good because I miss his conspiracy theories. They're not that great anymore. Now it's just these weird long hour conspiracy ones where he does these weird sections, and it's just, why wouldn't you just cut them up into like 20-minute videos if you're gonna do this weird jumping around thing? So I don't know what's going on there, but it's YouTube is like attacking itself, and
It's eating itself.
Kind of, with the makeup like wars. And you were just saying how it did that with the gaming wars before.
Well, yeah, because there was a time where like everybody had a gaming channel. Like if you were a YouTuber and you were a vlogger, it's like, oh well, guess what? We got our gaming channel coming up, and that was fine. But I think the issue where it started becoming an issue is they would get a lot of backlash. Because a lot of so for some of them, it was like, oh, I play video games in real life. I'm just going to start doing it on YouTube. And that's fine. But there are other people that they clearly aren't gamers. They're just doing it because they want attention and they want the views from it because they know they make money. And so there would be a lot of people who get a lot of backlash of being like, you're trash and you need to stop playing video games. Or they'd be invited to video game events like E3. Shout out to E3, by the way. That just ended last month.
E3?
E3 is the Electronic Entertainment Expo, I think is what it stands for. It's
You should call it Triple E.
It's a game expo.
Yeah, I'm with Jonathan on that. I think they missed a real opportunity.
E3 is a expo used to show off new gaming content and also new gaming software and technology. So you can Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, they show up to show off their new games, new stuff they're working on, if they're working on new consoles, that sort of thing. But then you'd have people that would be invited that are YouTubers, but they're not gamers. And so gamers would be like, I don't care about this person. Like, why are they here? And slowly but surely start seeing gaming channels either come down or less content being made for them because they're realizing this ain't me. So it's weird. But I mean, that's how I think YouTube's becoming a machine now because almost everybody is a part of a business. Like the people who are the original like innovators, like the Philip DeFranco now is like has a business going on. Granted, his business is made by him, but still,
Well, yeah,
he's
like
a business. Rooster Teeth's a business.
I love Rooster Teeth though. Shout out to them.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth's
Shout
the
out
best.
to Rooster Teeth.
I still love watching Rooster Teeth's content.
Oh, we're doing shout outs. Can I do one to like Garrett
Do it.
Watts? He's like my favorite YouTuber
Who
right
is
now.
it?
Garrett Watts. That dude hasn't posted in like 6 months, and yet somehow he got 3 million like YouTube followers.
Dang.
But he is like an adorable giant man, and I love him, and he's so like adorable. Like I would love to just give that man a giant hug.
Shout out to The Grapevine on YouTube. They're really good. They talk about like
I've heard about them.
have you heard about them?
I've heard of
I
them.
haven't.
They're a panel show, so it's like made up of maybe like anywhere from like 10 to 20 people. And they talk about just like Black issues and things that are facing the Black community and
Aren't there?
stuff like that.
Is there a group of Black women?
No, it's men
okay.
and women.
There's
Yeah,
that's
they
another
have-
that's another channel I'm thinking of.
They have episodes where I think it's all women or all men based on what the topic is, but yeah. Anyone you want to shout out, Jerome?
I mean, I already did my shout. Like,
Okay.
shout out to Rooster Teeth. Shout out to, even though they've already made it and they're on Comedy Central, still go check out their YouTube stuff. Shout out to Dormtainment, who is like, I've never seen them. They originally were like 6 guys in their college dorm making comedy sketches and videos amongst each other. Now they like, they're now on YouTube. I mean, now on Comedy Central. Excuse me. You're making stuff with all types of comedians from Mike Epps, and they've worked with All Def Digital a couple times too. So shout out to Dormtainment.
Going back
Come
to
check them out.
Death and Meech.
I hit
Original
my
shout out.
microphone.
Original shout out back to Beach Mark.
But I think that's where I think YouTube is starting to go down. Is that it's starting to become a lot like TV, even past the fact that they're already making like TV like content with YouTube TV and everything. But also just the fact that now it's like, if you're not part of a network, you're gonna have an even harder time like making yourself popular on YouTube.
Yeah, I have YouTube Premium and I don't even watch YouTube TV.
Can I
watch
get that password?
Wait, what?
I said, can I get that password?
Oh.
We'll talk about that later. I don't know. There are some YouTube like channels that weirdly are still weird. That are so good, and it's like you kind of just miss that when you do find them, and you just like what I said with Garrett Watts. His like stuff is still like very him, and it's so nice. And like, cause the last video one of the videos he made was he made his whole wall into a Dorito wall, and like
It's kind of amazing.
right. And I'm like, I so want to do that. And a lot of times I'm like, I'll relate to him, and I'm like, I feel weird relating to a man I've never met.
Wouldn't your room smell like Doritos?
Why is that a bad thing?
I don't know. You don't see any Dorito scented Febreze up in the Kmart aisles.
Yo, that would be crazy.
New marketing plan. But like the weird,
Jerome, delete this from the podcast.
Yeah.
We got an idea on our hands.
Yeah. But it's just the weird stuff he does. Like he put on an It costume, had his best friend dress up as like what's the kid who dies? Timmy?
Georgie.
I don't know why I went Timmy. And like they walked around West Hollywood. And I was like, I would probably do that. I would love to do that. Halloween, anybody want to hang out with me and we'll go as it?
No, for Halloween, I'm dressing up as a Zoom character and I'm trying to get a group of people. Anyway.
I want to be a serial killer.
I don't know what I'll
Yeah.
dress up as Halloween. I don't know.
Well, come be my murder victim. Anyway, but
Because the
like
black guy already dies
yeah.
first. That what
When
you're trying to say?
When I watched
whatever. I'm a Mexican woman. Like I ain't living either.
When I watched Us, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna be one of the tethered," but like everybody's gonna be that. So I don't think I'm gonna do that.
There's 2 black people and a Mexican here. Like nobody's living. Not if we're all dead. All right. It's okay, Jerome.
But
who dies? That's another podcast. No, who dies first out of us and who survived? No, Alex will probably survive.
Jonathan, I know who would die first. You.
Why?
You're too nice.
You're definitely too nice.
As soon as you see the first person trip, you would stop and save them.
I'm skeptical though. I'm that person who's
you know what would happen?
I don't necessarily want to go.
You know what would happen?
I would not be the first person to go into a haunted shed.
That is true, and there have been moments it got weird at the Science Center, at the IMAX.
See, look, there was a noise. Somebody, what was that? And I just turned my head.
No, there has been weird moments when we work together at the IMAX at like midnight, and I've heard weird stuff, and we're both just like, no, we're not doing anything. I would probably say the reason Jonathan would get murdered is because he's trying to help me. I would fall down. Jonathan would definitely come back, try to help me out, pick me up, and then the killer would get him in the back, and I'd be like, oh shit, sorry, Jonathan, and keep going because I know you love me and you want me to survive.
Nope, I've been left.
Oh no, you died because then I go in hiding, and then he you were going for a straight line, and then he knows where you went.
Yep.
They don't know where I went.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's okay. I mean, I'll live to tell the tale. But
I will say one thing I'm liking about TV is that I think because they know the internet is such a treasure trove of just tons of content, but most of it very self-serving, TV is starting to get to a point where they're trying to be, at least some TV shows, not all of them, because some, like CW is still doing basic CW stuff. But most of the other networks are trying to be a little bit more mature, trying to do some more stuff that they've never done before. If you told me they would have had a real, as close to real as they can get without causing any trouble, Chernobyl show, I would not 2-3 years ago, I would have told you that there's no way they would let that amount of truth come out. But it's really, they're really doing it. And as I've watched Chernobyl, it's really serious and there's moments where I'm like, I can't believe this happened in real life, but they really go the extra mile to show that stuff. And I think that's really cool that TV is taking that approach. Whereas YouTube, because of the attention span of the internet, that amount of content would probably be dumbed down to a 5-minute video where you wouldn't get the same emotional impact from that.
And I think the lines between TV and YouTube or Netflix or Hulu are definitely being blurred in the sense that take the show You, for example, that aired originally on Lifetime or Riverdale on CW or Jane the Virgin or whatever.
Or Lucifer.
Yeah, a show that aired originally on TV and then months later got picked up by Netflix and then just blew up to a whole other audience that wouldn't have seen it if it didn't start streaming on Netflix. So I think in a sense maybe TV makers and the people who are in charge of the ideas on TV are kind of keeping that in the back of their minds. Is this idea good enough for Netflix? Is this idea good enough for Hulu? Are we going to be able to get picked up and expand our audience through these vehicles?
That is a good point to make. I mean, I think both in the end they're challenging each other on ways to say. I will say though, some of the channels I watch on YouTube, I've learned more from them than I have from what I've watched on historical shows and stuff like that. Like the BuzzFeed Unsolved team when they do the crime ones. They show a lot of historical accuracy for that. And it's oh, this is actually really good. Or when they did Shane Medea's, what's it called? Ruining History. I learned way more than I wanted to about Benjamin Franklin's sex cult. And yes, you heard that right.
Well, he was a party dude.
I'm really upset that BuzzFeed did not renew that. I was so angry.
Is he as much of a...
He is as much as a pervert as you think Benjamin Franklin is.
Oh, I was...
Probably more.
I was gonna say, does he like that action as much as the Barney guy?
Do not spit on.
I'm sorry.
My
Jerome was
table,
drinking
No, I
water.
held it together. I held it together.
Probably more. I mean, this was a big thing, and like but anyway, reading history, like I learned so much, and I learned so much from like their shows and some of the networks I follow. Even the top 10 amazing things. Well, it's called the top 10 amazing. It's just another channel I follow on YouTube, and I've learned so much from their history when they're like, oh, top 10 curse boxes that should never be opened. And I'm like, how is this an existing thing? And I'm like learning dates in history. But I will say drunk history taught me a lot more about history than probably any other show.
You've shown me a couple of those episodes.
I love drunk history. Shout out to drunk history.
Shout out to
If we're going to do
Drunk
a shout
History.
out to anything, drunk history.
Yes.
That is my show. I love it. I'm always excited when that's the only show I'll watch through streaming on TV. I don't care where I find it. Drunk history. Like, I want to get famous enough to be on that show. Just like one episode. I will rise to fame in comedy just to be on that show. And then after that, I'm going to retire.
I think for me, I think I do agree with you that YouTube, like, I mean, heck, just learning how to do this podcast, all that information for the most part came from YouTube. And I think that's where YouTube for me is a tool that is much more, because with the TV,
I learned how to tie a tie through YouTube.
well, with TV, it's like you got to wait till it's on, like Discovery Channel, for example. Like, don't get me wrong, there's always more we can learn about the ocean, but at this point, how many weeks can you do of a year of Shark Week?
Hey, do not.
Listen, I'm just saying.
not.
You know everything there is to need to know about sharks
Need
at
to
this
know.
point.
Isn't there only
No.
one Shark Week a year?
Yes.
No.
And it's some of the same content.
Do not talk bad ever about Shark Week in this house. Okay? We respect sharks in every form and shape in this house.
Sharks are awesome.
No, do
But-
not talk about shark. No. No, we're not doing this in here. I will kick you out.
Fine.
Do
How many
not-
more planet Earths can you have?
There, you can bash my planet Earth. I don't care. But do not talk about my Shark Week like that.
I actually like Planet Earth, like
I
how
get a
they
little
can
sleepy.
get those shots.
It's
That's-
gorgeous.
shout
The
out to
boys.
Planet
It is
Earth.
gorgeous. It is
Shout
It is
out to
gorgeous, but I
Planet
get a little
Earth.
sleepy.
Stop with these shout outs. Run
What?
out of shout out
to the
rooms.
Simpsons. Shout out.
We're starting to make shout outs not mean anything. anymore.
Forget the title of YouTube versus TV. It's really just
Shout
a
out.
shout out conspiracy. Conspiracy. It's
Conspiracy.
a shout out conspiracy. It's how we're gonna get followers.
But anyway.
Yeah, we have to tag all these people.
Do we?
God
We have-
dang it, we sure
we're,
do.
Okay,
We're gonna
let's
have to
do a
tag
list.
all these people.
Shout out to like Vija Mars, Dope Island.
Okay, let's get them out. Yeah,
No,
let's
we
get them out.
mean
Let's get 'em
tag
out.
as in like tag them on the Instagram and the
All of
the-
that
you know,
stuff.
all of that. So you got to get some tagging.
Okay, get yours out. Get your shout outs out. If you want to skip the shout outs,
Oh, wait.
skip to like a minute and a half from now.
Wait, what?
We remember. Look, they just gonna have to sift through it as they get to the video. All
Okay.
right. Look, shout out to you, audience member, for dealing with all the shout outs that have
Aw,
gone
come
through at this.
Oh, that
No,
is
listen.
such
They didn't come
a-
here for this. They came here for an
That
argument about
is
YouTube
such-
versus TV.
Well, I'm gonna say that's a cop out right there. Well, no, actually, we
They're
haven't.
gonna hate me and Alex for doing all the shout outs, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, Jerome gave me a shout out."
Boo. I was just trying to be like nice to like the old Viners I watched and like my best friend in Oregon. Like I was just trying to be cool to them. You're
I
the
get
ones-
it.
you're the
Okay,
ones trying to-
give him a shout out. Now it's their time.
Well, you said their names better than I. There was a Micha Mars,
Beach on Mars.
Dope Island, Garrett Watts, who I absolutely love. My best friend in Oregon, Greg. Who else was I talking about? You guys said shout out to like everybody I mentioned, every name. Shane Medea, because he's from BuzzFeed and I love him and I'm a Shaniac. From Unsolved. You guys don't know.
Nope.
Forget you two. And then shout out to, I guess, Drunk History. You guys are like the worst that you guys don't know.
I
That's something else.
Drunk history?
Not drunk history. I said a Shaniac.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Again,
I'm sorry. I don't really watch like YouTubers, but I watch like podcasts on YouTube.
Well, that's actually what I was gonna like bring in before you forced me to do my like shout out list.
Wait, I want to give my shout outs first.
All right, fine,
Rob
fine.
has a podcast, and As Told by Kenya. She's hilarious. And
Very-
she goes on rants.
If we're posting podcasts, watch Double Toasted podcast. Two old film critics.
I think we
that have
follow
been
them
going
on
since the
Instagram.
90s. Like, shout out to Double Toasted. Check out their stuff. They need more subscribers because they're awesome.
But no, that's this actually talking about podcasts leads into a little bit for a quick discussion if we have some time about podcasting. A lot more people are becoming, wanting to listen to it and wanting to hear it. So does that mean YouTube and even TV are falling out of it? Because I was discussing with one of our friends about how they're getting tired of listening to music and like nobody watches music videos really and all this stuff. And it's like, well, we're listening more and more to podcasts and people have requested to like watch videos of us, which mildly creepy, guys, but I understand.
But it's
We're
good
cute.
that we have.
I'm adorable.
We have the audience.
Yeah,
No.
it's nice to know you guys want to see what we're doing, how we're interacting. We do make weird faces. I'm sure you can hear Jerome munching right now.
Yep.
You want to know, you want to know what the sounds are, the MSMR sounds, the gentleness that goes on in the other two mics. That was creepy.
Don't do that.
So like, there's that whole. Don't do it. There's that whole like the visual of the podcast and the podcast. So it's like, are we turning from like TV and YouTube and now are we just doing podcasting?
I would hate that because like podcasts are something that you listen to in the car or while you're doing chores. TV and YouTube and movies and all that kind of stuff is like an event that you sit down, you're like, okay, I'm going to be invested in this story. So I think there's a world in which they don't have to be mutually exclusive. I think they can both live in harmony together. YouTube and podcasting.
I have a dream that one day podcast and YouTube will be hand in hand. Walking down the roads of the internet. Side by side. I won't be there with you.
And I think this is a good place to end.
But you need to watch these podcasts. You can follow me at Not Jerome.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
Are you sure that's not... You can follow you at Martin Luther King Jr. at Martin Luther King.
No, I'm not going to do that. No,
Follow him too, though, because...
Yeah, shout out to Martin Luther King, man.
Yeah, you know what? We're going.
Dr. King
out
was
to Dr. King.
a revolutionary, and by God,
Are we really?
I miss that man.
Okay.
I never...
Save this for our Black History Month podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Dr. King was dope.
Are we
And,
sure now we're going?
you'll be missed.
We're going for a second season. I guess we're only halfway through, but we're already promising to be back in February.
I have a dream that this podcast will make it to February.
We'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
Where can they follow you at?
Yeah, but for now, you guys can follow me at Living My Okayest Life.
And you can follow me at Jonathan Keys. That's JONATHANKUIES.
Damn.
You can follow us at Behind the Usher Station on Instagram, at Usher Station Pod on Twitter. Find us at Behind the Usher Station on YouTube. And you can also email us behindtheusherstation@gmail.com.
Oh, you can also follow me. If you didn't fully hear me, I was at Not Jerome Rhett, because I'm Not Jerome Rhett on Instagram. So,
There we
And
go.
of course, subscribe and leave comments. Maybe we'll read them on here.
What do you prefer, TV or YouTube, or do you think they can both live in glorious harmony together?
Yeah, that's it.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Kind of fizzled out there a little bit.
Well, that's what Jonathan said would happen. No energy now.